Hello. Um, it's going to be a story of awakening path. I am going to share my experience here. Nothing extraordinary, just what people normally talk about awakening. Um, Very suddenly, I had this impulse. I want to start recording and I want to start talking and sharing. I was out on a walk today and it was just like that. Just like, I want to start putting videos on YouTube. So, um, I'm going to start to record videos. I'm going to start putting them to YouTube. I'm going to share my awakening story. This dissolving disappearance of sense of some kinda something what is felt like me here. And if before, there's so many YouTubers talking about that, and anytime I had this idea coming up, like recording videos, talking videos, I just like, no, that's not for me. I'm not interested. Like, was just like completely, no. And I always leave things like that. If I feel impulse towards that and I feel like, like I want to do it, I just follow that impulse. So, yeah, it was like very suddenly, like completely unexpectedly, nothing planned. It was just like, I want to do it. And normally when I feel like that, just like, go, follow that impulse. Um, so yeah, this is my first video, and hopefully I am going to record more and start putting out more videos and talk about how things are unfolding in my case. There's nothing big or major happening kind of way, but same time things are changing. It's like nothing is changing and everything is changing. And normally when I hear people sharing their stories, talk about their awakening experiences and how it happened to them, all the honeymoons and all this, like, wow, big things. There is no one story I heard I could hear similarities, especially the first awakening. And when people say it is so obvious, it is like you can't doubt it, and like for sure. It certainly wasn't my case. Something happened, a very strange experience. Kinda something changed, but not like extremely changed. And I didn't understand that actually was an initial shift. Only 2 months later, when I was talking to someone and we were talking about awakening, and that person already had a shift for a while, initial shift. And that person asked me, "Are you sure you didn't have a shift yet?" I said, like, apart from that weird experience, he's like, not really. But you sound like you're talking about, like you certainly had it. I was just like, so I shared with him what happened to me in that weird thing. And then that person was very close with Angela, was I chatting, and apparently he shared what I told him, my story with Angela, and Angela said, yeah, that's an initial shift. And then I remember, like, a friend of mine came back to me, said, Angela said you had a shift. And I was just like, okay, if Angela said I had a shift, that must be a shift. That's when I actually started to believe I actually had a shift. So this is I always felt that it's very important to this aspect to share with people. When you hear stories that is so certain, like, you absolutely know it. In my case, it wasn't like that. So there are also possibilities it's not as obvious. And even still, like, okay, because there are things like shift and changing in perception, and this sense of me is like really dissolving. So, like, there is that path is kind of unfolding, which makes me think there is something is happening. And one thing I'm completely sure about, that shadow work. That is just like shadow work on steroids. If anything is happening for sure, that is shadow work. That is one thing, like 100% yes. That is certainly yes. So in my case, I was doing kind of like psychological work already. And after the shift, there's no honeymoon, nothing drastically changed, no fireworks, no wow, nothing like that. It was just like deeper into shadow work. More stuff started to come up. And so, yeah, I guess for today that will be me starting. Newbie YouTuber. Haha. And I'll keep posting. Bye.